Hi, we are live at 5. It's day 4 of May and day 4 of Live at 5 with me, LuzCelenia. Uh, I'm having fun with this. We'll see how it feels like closer to day 14, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying coming on and sharing with you all, and the feedback has been great. So, once again, thanks for hanging with me. We are live at 5 every day for 2 weeks until May 14th. And we are preparing for Dear Mama, Brunch and Healing Circle. There are still tickets available for those of you who are interested in coming. Just so y'all know how people are. I know people, I've had several people tell me that they are coming and haven't bought their tickets because people like to be last minute, or they just want to be open to something happening, or whatever the case might be. So, but don't miss it, because once the tickets are gone, they are gone, and being last minute might cost you a seat at the table. So definitely want you to be here. If for some reason something happens, an emergency happens the day of, and you can't make it, then you can apply it to a future event, because I will be doing more. But may not be a mother wound event. This one was very call was felt led to do very specifically for this time, and as we're moving forward. If you know anything about me, I listen to Holy Spirit. I listen to my intuition. So maybe we do this one again. Maybe it's a whole different topic altogether. So again, if you're waiting to see what's going to happen, you just might wait too long and miss it. Today, though, I want to tell you all a story. So there was this young woman. She's, in her 30s. She's in therapy, and she's trying to get her life together. Has had a good career. She has a boyfriend. She lives in a nice apartment. Her life is, on the outside at least, it looks okay. It looks decent. But she's just not satisfied. She's, in essence, stopped dreaming. She doesn't know what exactly she wants, other than what she's been told she's supposed to want. That's very different. And since, other than marriage, because she isn't married, but she seems to be on that trajectory, so it's like she's really concerned as to why she's just not happy, and why she feels so stuck, although on paper everything looks okay. So she's in therapy, and like myself, she realizes that although she has these things, the relationship is very unhealthy. It's very toxic. Not just on his part, even though he's the catalyst for her realizing that, but she has a lot of unhealed parts of herself that she didn't realize, that was also impacting the relationship and her life in general. But at the encouragement of the therapist, she started to be really honest about exactly what her relationship is. And she realized that there were threads of abuse, on his part. He was financially abusive and very verbally abusive. He never hit her, which can make it hard, because that's what we know. That's where the bruises are. When we can show people bruises, it's easier, but the emotional, and even in a lot of ways financial, because we don't talk about money, but the emotional and spiritual and verbal wounds that we carry, we can't take pictures of those and show people how someone has harmed us. And so she's going through this process and really learning about herself and abuse and learning tools and figuring out what she wants to do. And one day she's in therapy and her therapist asks her, um, is there one person or maybe more than one person that you have been disconnected from since starting this relationship? If you don't know, one of the things that abusers do is they alienate you from the people in your life. At least they try. Uh, the more successful they are, the more they're able to abuse you because they essentially don't want anyone to have any influence over you, good, bad, or indifferent. They want to be the singular voice in your life. So they are, and if they're really, really good at manipulating you, they're not even lying. They're using the truth and using that to manipulate you and to be like, yeah, your family don't care about you. Look at what they just did. Your friend don't really fuck with you. Look how she looking at you. Look how she talked to you. Look how she did this. And it's very, very small. It's not all at one time. They very rarely are going to be very direct as far as I don't want you. Sometimes they do. They'll get there. But in the beginning, it's usually not going to be direct. It's going to be under the veil of being concerned, of trying to protect you. But be wary. Just be wary of people like that. No one in your life is good enough for you except them. And so she asked this question and she realized like, oh yeah, there have been people who didn't deserve to be cut off that I do miss. And there was one person in particular that came to mind. It was an ex-boyfriend. And her face lit up when she said his name. And she was like, oh, you must really, really love him. And she was like, yeah. She's like, you should call him. And she's like, no, it's been years. He's probably moved on. He's probably married, got a kid. He ain't thinking about me. Like, he don't want me. Like, clearly, like, we were exes for a reason. She's like, just, you don't have to reach out to him to, like, try to rekindle anything. Just reach out. It's okay. Just reach out. And so she went home and she's like, I can't do that. Like, he not thinking about me. He has not tried to reach out or nothing. And so she's reaching out to her friends and she's like, what should I do? And some of them are like, yeah, you're right. Don't open those closed doors. This Mercury retrograde. So exes like to come back during now. So it's one of those situations. But then she had, some friends is like, well, why not? Like, just reach out. Like, doesn't hurt. At least send a text message. So one day she's like, all right, she's like, I take my homework seriously. So she sends him a text message. He responds immediately, tells her how happy he is to hear from her. And next thing you know, they are setting up a time to meet up, not a date, just to hang out, just to see each other. And she's still living with her ex now, but she finds some ways to, be like, hey, I'm going to go do this over here, meets up with him. And the moment they see each other, it is almost as if no time has passed. He grabs her hand, checks for a ring, asks if she's married, got kids. She puts him through the ringer too. And they realized that both of them were in similar places in the sense of they're both ending relationships that they knew weren't for them. And that they wanted to give it a try again in the future, but they both had things to do before that could happen. Why do I tell you that story? Because a lot of times we can get stuck, even if we know that where we are is not the best place. It is not the healthiest, whether it's a relationship or a job or just in ourselves and this the place we are in our own lives. That, this is just the way it is. And I can manage. I should be grateful for what I have. and be content for what I have. And, who am I to want more? Whether we say that to ourselves out loud or not, a lot of the sentiment can come from that. Like, who the hell do I think I am? I'm just trying to make, every single day, I'm just trying to do the best that I can just to get through the day. In that moment, whether or not they actually got together in the future or not, didn't matter. That moment represented hope for more. It represented the possibility that there is better and that she deserved better. And that all the things that she was telling herself about, he not thinking about me, he don't care about me, that like whatever, he's moved on with his life, wasn't even true. But even if it was, even if she would have showed up that day and it would have been just like, hey, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Nice to see you. And it wouldn't have been a moment of like, oh, I still have feelings for you. You still have feelings for me. Even if it wasn't that, and it was just cordial, all of the things that had take root in her mind about what she thought, about what how people felt about her or that specific person, he represented a whole lot more, proved to not be true. So we have to be really, really mindful of the stories we tell ourselves based off of the experiences that we've had in our life. Most of those stories, which is why if you have ever been in therapeutic settings, they're like, the joke is, so how was your childhood? Most of those stories originated in our childhood. Not necessarily all with our parents, because there are a lot of people that we interact with, our siblings, friends, teachers, other adults. But a good portion of them are going to come from our parents. And those stories may not be stories that they intentionally wanted us to have. If you've ever had a conversation with a parent, adult figure, grandparent, aunt, uncle about something that happened in your childhood, quite often do they usually, if this is their personality type, quite often do they challenge your memory? Or if they challenge, or they just tell you that's not true, that didn't happen, but your memory of that is so sharp, you could literally close your eyes and go back to that exact moment it was happening. Why is that? Because they were just being themselves. They weren't necessarily trying to do it or not trying to do it. They were just being themselves. And the person that the violence or the shade or whatever it is, insert your word here, was enacted on, is going to remember that a whole lot more clear than the person who did it. And if you were in a home life where you felt like that you had to survive it, it's the same thing when we're talking about Black people knowing white people better than they know themselves. Because in order to survive a violent place, you gotta know them better than they know you. What does that look like for a child? That looks like you knowing by the way that your mother says good morning, what kind of day you gonna have. You know when she's coming home from work and she walks through that door, the energy you feel the moment she walks in, what kind of mood she's in. And depending on who you are as a person, determines how you respond. Me, I was the person who felt responsible for everybody else's emotions. And so if they were having a bad day, then I took responsibility for that and did whatever I needed to do for them to have a good day. If she was stressed, then I took stuff off her plate. I made, I would fix dinner. I'm making sure me and my sister did our homework, stay out her way, don't ask mom for nothing, this and the other. And on the surface, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, right? Except when you're a child and you're learning to put other people in front of your own, you become an adult who doesn't know how to prioritize yourself. Confirmation. And so I say that to say all of this. Even if it's just a little glimmer of believing there is better, hold on to it, because the dreams that God has for you is so much greater than that. But if you can't hold on to just that little bit of mustard seed faith, then you will remain in the same place. You will look up and be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old and look back and try to figure out where your life went, because you really haven't lived it in an active state. You went to work, you raised kids, you live in a home, but what has it amounted to? What about you and your divine creation have you acted out of your beingness that God created you to be and to make an impact on this world, and you have not done it because you're afraid? Afraid is not just for failure. Fear is not just for failure. You're afraid of what happens when I get that thing. What is it going to demand of me? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not worthy enough? Let me tell you a secret. Even if you quote unquote fail, you're still worthy and you still deserve it. Your worth does not change based off of your decisions, your mistakes, your choices. It is inherent. So don't let the stories that you've been rehearsing in your mind, whether by choice or not, keep you from that great thing that you dream of. Bring that dream closer. Bring it closer. Stop looking at that dream as some far off, untouchable thing. Bring it close and think about it as like right now. Live in the moment, and yet still have enough faith that in the next moment that dream can come true. And in every single moment, you are living up to your potential to be in alignment with that thing. So when it comes, you can have it. You can recognize it. You can enjoy it. You won't throw it away and it won't pass you by, because you won't be worried that you're not good enough. Because somebody, something, some experience told you somewhere down the line, maybe once, maybe a lot of times, that you weren't good enough. That story that I told you about, that girl was me. And maybe one day I'll tell you about the story about how the fact that we did get back together. And it was and has been the most beautiful love story I've ever been involved in. I've ever been blessed to have, for someone to show me that I'm worthy of being loved just because I am. I want that for you too. So again, if you are in Baltimore, there are still a few tickets left. Do not miss out. Dear Mama Brunch and Healing Circle, Saturday, May 27th. Tickets at LuzCelenia.com/Dear Mama, $50. You're getting brunch, a sacred space healing circle, and you're going to get my ebook, Healing Eve, and a discount to the accompanying journal that I'm also creating to go along with that. So one more thing just before I go. So you see this? Oh wait, Instagram can see it better. I'm gonna stand up. Oh. So let me see. Y'all can see it. All right. You see that? It says worship and twerking, prayer and therapy, spirituality, and sensuality. This is one of the shirts, one of my new designs that is going to be launching very, very soon. I have quite a few new designs that are going to be released in my store. So if you are interested and you like it and you want one, and it comes in different colors as well. Of course, I love pink. So it comes in different colors. You can do, of course, black and white, red, yellow, green, whatever. If you want one, they are $25. So let me know, DM me and say, hey, I want that shirt. And we can put in an order before they launch on the store. Oh, I got a comment. Hi, Liam. Hi, brother. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Excellent 1914. Thank you, Francis. My sister, Dr. Parsons, was here. T. Marie. Hi. Thank you guys for joining live. And for all of you who will be watching the replay, thank you for watching. Share with somebody that you think would benefit from this message. And I will see you mañana, that is tomorrow, live at 5 and every day until May 14th. But before I go, one more time. Today at 7 p.m. with my new church, the Faith Community, we are talking about sex. So it'll be on Facebook, TFC, and YouTube. So the Faith Community, I'll tag it on my page as well. So if you're around joining the conversation, we are talking about Song of Solomon and the erotic poetry of the Bible. So thank you. Aw, don't make me cry. My brother Liam said he's proud of me. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about sex, kicking off the month, because this month of May in the Faith Community is Let's Talk About Sex Month. So hope you guys will join me in all the places. Just, come along for the ride. I love seeing you. Bye-bye. Oh, but before I go, be as radiant as the sun, as always. Shine, no matter what. All right, now I'm gone.